Do you ever feel like you're constantly trying to act normal? You're watching how other people do life, how they stay organized, how they show up on time, and how they just handle things. And you're sitting there thinking, why does that look like it comes so easily to them? And why does it feel so much harder for me? And then you try to adjust. You try to fit that mold. You tell yourself, I just need to be more disciplined. I just need to try harder. I need to get it together. But it never quite sticks. Well, if you have ADHD, there's a reason for this. So let's talk about it. This is Wild Focus. And today we're talking about something that has hit me very, very hard as of recent, which has honestly inspired me to do this episode. And up front, I just want to say that I took my first seminar since becoming a member of CHAD. And if you don't know what that is a community built to support children and adults with attention deficit hyperactivity disorders. And that webinar was called Living Authentically with ADHD. And what I realized is that it wasn't really about living your truth in some abstract way. It's about understanding something deeper. Your brain isn't inconsistent. Your systems just don't operate the same like everyone else's. So today what I want to do is I want to break down some of my takeaways from that webinar and what it really looks like in real life. But before I do, real quick, I want to say that I'm going to be breaking down what I learned in that webinar and how it connects to real life with ADHD, but I also want to encourage you to not just rely on the summary for this stuff that I'm about ready to give you. I want to encourage everybody to go check out the Chad website on your own. Look into it, explore what they have to offer. And if it feels right for you, I want you to consider becoming a member. There is a lot of value in it. There's a lot of education, some resources, just like the webinar that I attended. A lot of those are free for members, so you don't even have to pay. And the cost upfront is only like $70 for the entire year. And to me, that is a small price to pay for helping to understand ADHD and all the research going on around it right now. I have found so much benefit by reading these articles that are published by professionals. It's just really has helped opened up understanding for me. And like I said, it's a community of people who actually understand what living with ADHD is like beyond just the surface level of things, of the advice that you would get day to day. For me, it's been extremely helpful just having that access to more language, more tools, and more perspective that I've ever had, and it makes ADHD feel like it feels less like it's something that needs to be fixed, and more like something that I'm learning how to work with it. But yeah, please take a moment. I will drop the link in the description for you to go check it out, so it's a little bit easier for you. But let's jump into it, and I want to start here because that phrase can a phrase can get thrown around a lot, and that's live authentically. Sounds great, but what does it actually mean when you have ADHD? Because for us, it can get twisted real fast. And living authentically with ADHD does not mean I'm just bad at texting back. I'm just always late. I just can't do structure. That's not authenticity. That's using ADHD as the explanation without taking responsibility for the system underneath it. What it actually means is what it means to me is this is how my brain works. So I'm going to build my life around it, not fight it, not ignore it, and I'm not going to punish myself for it. but I'm going to understand it and I'm going to get better at my day to day and living with ADHD. Because the reality is, most of us have spent years masking. It wasn't until I was diagnosed at 38 did I realize this. And when I did realize it, it hit me so fucking hard. So many emotions ran through my body. And one of the biggest takeaways from that seminar was this is it's your brain is not failing you. It's just running on different systems. Activation that depends on urgency or emotion, attention that locks in or completely disappears, memory that doesn't reliably hold up to what you think it will, and emotions that drive actions faster than logic ever will. So when life feels inconsistent, it's not you being broken, it's you trying to run a brain designed for urgency instead. It's designed for urgency inside a world designed for consistency. And that mismatch is where the struggle really comes from. So so here is how I want to break it down and simplify it in real life terms. ADHD isn't just focus problems. It's a system issue. And one of the biggest truths from the seminar was this: you don't act based on importance. You act based on emotional activation. That means urgency, that's what starts you. Pressure moves you. Emotion overrides logic. Interest locks your attention. And here's the damn kicker: avoidance is always an emotional strategy. Procrastination is not laziness, it's your brain trying to regulate discomfort. Even guilt can temporarily create movement, but it comes at a cost, because when your only fuel is pressure, shame, or stress, you eventually burn out, and fast. So authenticity isn't doing whatever you feel like. It's learning what emotional conditions actually help me start and sustain actions. All right, I want to take a quick second to pause and to talk about my company, Weekend Wild. It's an outdoor lifestyle brand built around one idea: spend less time on your screens and more time outside. If you head over to weekendwildmi.com, you can check out all the gear that we have. And if you use the code WildFocus15, you can get 15% off your entire purchase. Now, this is the part that really means a lot to me. 10% of all sales goes to supporting the DNR Stepping Stones program, which is a nonprofit that is dedicated to helping individuals and families gain access to the outdoors. So if you want to support the podcast along with the DNR Stepping Stones program, please go to weekendwildmi.com today and use that code WildFocus15. All right, let's get back to it. Now, here's where I'm going to push you a little bit, because this is where a lot of people get stuck, in my opinion. They hear authentic and it turns into, this is just how I am. I can't change this. I guess I'm just not good at this. But that's not authenticity. That's resignation. You're essentially giving up and using ADHD as a crutch. I mean, let's be honest. Yes, your systems are different. Yes, you will struggle with consistency. Yes, you're going to need different tools, 100%, but you still have responsibility for building your own systems, because the alternative is what a lot of ADHD adults end up doing, and that's relying on self criticism to start tasks, living in urgency mode all the damn time. And it turns into burning out. And it's you're burning out just to function and then repeating that cycle over and over and over again. And it works until it does not. So let's try to ground this a little bit because this isn't theory, it's everyday life. Conversations. What do? We drift mid-sentence. Not because we don't care, but because attention is sticky and, let's be honest, unpredictable sometimes, most of the time, actually. We've talked about it before, but relationships, man, if you forget something important, you do it all the time. And it's not because it doesn't matter, it's just because your memory system did not store it strongly enough in that moment. Let's talk routines. You start strong and then you disappear from it. We just covered that in the last episode. And again, it's not because you're lazy, but because novelty is part of your activation system. So, authentic ADHD life doesn't look like trying hard. Okay. It looks like it looks like your system building. Use timers instead of memory, reminders instead of mental tracking. Okay. Environment changes instead of willpower, structure that flexes instead of rigid plans. Because once I stopped trying to be quote unquote normal, I have started building systems that actually fit my life. And to be honest, I did and I do struggle sometimes admitting this, especially in professional environments, because I know I should be in a different place. I know I should have a different mentality. But when those interests in my day to day dry up, I feel a almost a fog in the front of my head, the frontal cortex. And I know that's activation. I need to find a way to draw my interest back in and reactivate to get things done. And as of late, I have been not doing so great with that. So I'm taking a new approach and I'm adding different things into my life to recreate that novelty and make activation just a little bit easier for me. But let's get practical and let's talk about three things that actually matter. Number one, stop forcing normal. Your brain does not need to look like everyone else's. It just needs to work. So if you need, create visual cues, incorporate movement more often, have some use urgency to your advantage. Even if it's not urgent, if you can trick yourself into it, that honestly can help you kind of get up and activate it. And then set yourself reminders. Then use them because this isn't cheating. This is your design. So you work with your brain the best you can each and every day. Externalize everything. One of the biggest lies that our ADHD brains tell is, I'll remember that. The hell you will. So stop trying to hold things internally. Use a one capture system, one list, one place that your brain can turn to and trust because your working memory is not built for multitasking, it's built for fragments. So stop expecting for it to behave like a filing cabinet. It's a whiteboard, and half the time that whiteboard erases itself. Now, one of my favorite things that I've bought so far in this journey in my ADHD everyday life is this ADHD planner. This thing has honestly been a game changer for me, especially at work. And again, before I really dove into ADHD, some of the simple things that I have talked about to everyone here, I would have laughed at one time. I think I talked about it in one episode about like sleep meditation. Like that's meditation doc is not going to work for me. And I was proven wrong. And so I'm taking a different approach when it comes to some of these systems and some of these tools that we have at our advantage to use. And like I said, this ADHD planner has been a big game changer for me. I'm just going to show you, if you're listening, remember you can check me out on YouTube as well too, and you can check out what I'm showing right now. But this is the breakdown for it. All right. So up top, I have priorities, and then I have due later, and then everything else. That helps me navigate my day. And it also helps me build in, I pair this with timers as well too. So whatever those priorities are, depending on how fast they truly need to get done in the day, I will set a timer that correlates with it. And it has really helped me navigate and stay focused and motivated throughout the day. But what I love about this as well too is there is a brain dump section down here. And I will tell you, if I'm using this at work, anything that goes down there, most of the things that go down there are not work related, because as we know with our ADHD brains, there's no filter of what's coming in and out of your brain. It could be things that need to happen in your personal life. It could be an idea for a different business, podcast, whatever, a different topic for your podcast. It has just really helped free up my my brain space and help me refocus throughout the day. Also has a section over here for your daily schedule. So I use with my work, I have an Outlook calendar, but it's digital. It gets covered up by 17 other different tabs. So having to write it each day and see it visually whenever I look down at my desk, it has really helped. And then a fun piece that we have up top is today's focus and habits and self-care. So if I make it through the first two meetings, I have something there for a self-care, a reward to re-stimulate my brain to keep pushing. So I got this off Amazon. I will link it in the description as well if you want to take a look. And if you buy it, awesome. If you're already using a ADHD planner, comment, let me know. How do you like it? I will say though, the one thing that it's not that I don't like it about the planner. It's just I've used, uh, I've had to incorporate a different notebook as well too. And I know just moments ago I say one place, keep everything in one place. Well, this planner and my notebook go everywhere together. So yeah, I have a planner that looks that tells me what my day breakdown looks like, but then the notebook right behind it is for those bigger notes that I have to take that I just don't have the room for in that planner. Again, getting everything out of the old noggin down to paper has honestly really helped with focus and also with motivation. But getting back to the list, number 3, regulate before you react. Man, this one is huge and my probably my biggest area of opportunity. You cannot logic your way out of a dysregulated system. You can't plan your way out of overwhelm. So, first, move your body, get outside if you can, step away, reset your nervous system, and then think, plan, and execute, not the other way around. But here's what I want you to take away from this. Again, all of that was my takeaways from that webinar that I tried to translate into my life and real life, hoping that it's a little bit more understood by everybody. But living authentically with ADHD isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about understanding your brain and how it actually operates, and then building a life that works with it instead of against it. So this means designing systems instead of relying on memory, using emotion instead of fighting it, accepting variability instead of chasing consistency, and then building around your reality, not your ideal version of yourself. Because the biggest shift from that seminar wasn't new information, it was permission to stop forcing a system that was never designed for me. and encouraging myself and everyone to start building one that does. Because again, your brain is not broken. You just need systems that match your wiring. So build them and let's do this together. I appreciate you all for checking out another episode. This is Wild Focus.